See how we flirt and joke? Do that with him too.
As long as we can get a freak in the morning before church.
Francesca was out here talking about, I don't know how to flirt, but then she's gonna say, let's get freaky before church? It's them shy ones you gotta watch out for. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie. For those who don't know me, reviewing Love is Blind UK Season 3 Episode 2. Before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell, and leave a comment down below. We start off by meeting Yasmin. Yasmin has never been in a relationship. That's due to her very strict upbringing. I forget what the combination is. I know she's Black and Arabic. I just don't remember like where exactly her parents come from, but her dad was very strict on her, saying your books are your boyfriend. Okay, your books are your friends, your books are your boyfriends. Those were the same parents, I swear. Those parents who were like, don't date, don't date, don't date, don't date. Turn around when you're like 30, 31, 32, and they're talking about, where's your husband? I was never given the opportunity to date. What do you mean, where's my husband? Anyways, she goes on a date with Jordan. Jordan seems like a sweetheart. Jordan, I swear, if you embarrass me, I'm going to be very upset, because right now I think Jordan is my favorite guy.
Yasmin, just Princess Yasmin, there we go. Currently, I'm a teacher. My nan and granddad, them two were like inseparable. And then my granddad was just like, I've lost my best friend. I want to love like that. You know what I mean?
Honestly.
That's the first time I've proper experienced love. It is hard to hold down an actual stable relationship, but now I'm out, I am ready to find that love.
So Jordan opens up about his grandparents' love story. They have a love that had a love that he would love to emulate. When his grandmother passed away, his grandfather was like, damn, I feel like I lost my best friend. So even in their old age, they were still very fond of each other. He passed away a year after, and it kind of does sound like he passed away from a broken heart. Like, he didn't say exactly what was the cause of death, but it just kind of sounds like, oh damn, like he was being sustained by the love that he had from his wife. So it was just beautiful to hear him talk about that. He does say that he had been in 2 previous relationships. They were hard to maintain because he was in the army and, you know, very stringent lifestyle and all of that. It's hard to have a relationship, especially if the person, I'm assuming the person was not in the army. And my other assumption would be that makes it even harder. At least if they're there with you, you know, there's like relatability, but these are assumptions. I do not know. Anyways, he is a bit concerned that she has never been in a relationship. He's like, okay, well, how are you going to navigate things like introducing to the parents and all that? She's like, that's not a problem. Don't worry about that. He's worrying about it. He is. In their next date, he's going to bring it up again. Like, I don't know, like, you've never been in love before. You've never lived with anybody. How are you going to be ready to jump into marriage? Now, I personally don't think you have to live with a significant other to be ready for marriage. But if that is something that is important to you, I can understand why he's hesitant about that. She reassures him saying, listen, like, I get along well with parents. Yeah, I haven't dated before, but it's not to say like I don't know how to interact with people. Like, I am ready for love, and these are the reasons why I'm ready. And it seemed like she was able to quell his anxieties about that. So they're fine now. They then started talking about heritage. He's intrigued by her Arabic side. She ended up teaching him a few words. One of the words means destiny, or like to be destined or something like that. And she believes that this could be the person she's destined to be with. I love the optimism. I do. I just wonder, like, could she be putting a lot of weight on this because this is one of the first substantial connections she's had with somebody? And I'm not judging, okay? I got married to my first boyfriend, so I understand, you know? You feel something very different, you go all in. I just wonder if this plays into some of the questions that Jordan has about her inexperience. AJ is in the men's quarters, and he's watching Jack, and he's just so confused. He's like, Jack and I are nothing alike. Why the hell does she view us as her top picks? Like, I just don't get it. You like what you like, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. So he ends up having another date with Kiara, and he's questioning her again, wondering where he stands, because there's no way he could be on an even playing field with Jack.
I just want to understand.
I'm really serious about you. Like, cannot tell you how buzzing I was after our date. The person you're talking about, don't know how genuine the things are that he says, things that he said to other girls as well.
Kiara now wants to question Jack's authenticity. And although I understand where the questioning is coming from, I'm like, girl, you're not giving genuine either. She definitely gives game player like, oh, I just love a flirt. I'm here to advertise myself. That's what it gives. So I'm just like, Okay, pot meet kettle. But anyways, AJ is like, you've been my number one from the beginning. You will continue to be my number one. I'm just ready for you to make the decision whenever you're ready to make that decision. She says it's very sexy to have a man who's all for her. She just has to work out if it is true that AJ gives more marriage material while Jack gives boyfriend material. You already know. I don't know why this is something that's a question, but okay. AJ walks away from that date not feeling very reassured. And honestly, I wish that he would look into that, right? This is the second time now that he's asked her, where do I stand? And he's not really getting the answer that he's looking for. I guess I appreciate the fact that she's not selling him a dream. Not completely, at least. She's implying a lot of stuff, but she's not telling him, yeah, you're my number one. And then he's only a consideration, right? But like, you should be with somebody who gives you that assurance that you're looking for, especially this far into the process. So the fact that he's not getting that, I think should have been enough for him to be like, I don't know, maybe you're not for me. In the first episode, we did see Francesca mistake Joseph's voice for, I think it was AJ. Was it AJ's voice? I feel like it was AJ's voice. And I'm thinking, what a missed opportunity. I would have loved to see what that connection looked like. Speaking of Joseph, he says what he's missing from his connection with Francesca is the flanter, the flirty banter. He gets a lot of that from Shavanique, which makes sense. She's a, sexual health nurse or something like that. So talking about sex is not taboo for her, right? Whereas for Francesca, she gets quite bashful around this topic. So when he's trying to talk more about sexual compatibility and stuff, you see her get very whoa, this is a lot.
Tell me what your love languages are, what you give, and how you like it received. Hey, laughing.
Because why did you say it like that? It just sounds funny.
How important is physical intimacy?
What do you mean by physical intimacy? I need you to say it.
You know what I mean.
No, I don't. 10, it's
10?
important. It's important, man.
Okay. He was flirting so much that I was like, oh, where's this come from?
Francesca was getting very flustered, and I was like, Francesca, baby girl, you gotta lock in, okay? She does say that she's embracing the flirt because she knows that time is limited and they need to explore all, parts of compatibility. But I was like, this is where you can flirt the best. There's little to no stakes. Sure, you're being filmed and you're being broadcast to the world, but there's a wall. You don't have to read into whatever facial expressions he's giving you. It's all just words, right? I would think that it would be easier to flirt in the pods, but she's struggling. Anyways, on his date with Shavanique, he says that he loves sex. Okay, so okay, all right. He also says that he's the big spoon. And Shavanique was like, I feel like you're implying something else, but all right. She asked if sex before marriage is something that he wants to explore, and he says absolutely. She doesn't confirm or deny if that's the type of time that she's on as well, but I would assume by the way the conversation was going, she wouldn't be opposed to sex before marriage. Francesca then decides it's time for her to lock in, okay? She has to start flirting with this man. She has to reciprocate the energy that he's giving her. After some coaching from Cuba, she goes into the... When I tell you this girl royally failed in her mission, she walked in and she was like, are you ready for love? I'm thinking, this is flirting? Anyways, they talk about being ready for love and their upbringings again, which I feel like, I'm not saying it like they shouldn't talk about it, but I feel like they already hashed this part out. Anyways, he says that he didn't get to witness a lot of love. And yeah, we already spoke about this. That's why he sees rom-coms as, the example for what kind of love he wants to emulate and stuff like that. And she says her childhood was great and all that, whatever. Then she's like, yeah, I can feel your energy through the pods. And he's like, oh, are you flirting with me? Because she said I could feel your energy through. That was the extent of the flirting, guys. Literally, that was it. You know what? If you like it, I love it. Okay. She goes back to the women's quarters. She's so excited to tell everybody that she's really into Joseph. And Shavanique says this is the first time that she knew that somebody else was into Joseph. I don't believe her. Jack goes on a date with Faye, and they're just he, ha, ha, ho, ho, he, just laughing up a storm. I said, oh, this is interesting. I thought you just finished saying that your number one was Kiara. So why now are you being all jokey, lovey-dovey with Miss Faye? I'm confused. The conversation was a whole lot of nothing. Truly, they were just making jokes back and forth. It didn't feel like they were having a substantial conversation. I'm wondering if this was earlier on in the process or if this is truly where they were at, just because I felt like at this point, their conversations would have been deeper. But anyways, he ends the date by kissing the screen and then saying that he loves Faye. Kissing the screen is the same thing he did for Kiara. And then the I love you thing, like I said in the first episode, that joke needed to stop there. So the fact that he's still doing it feels manipulative to me. But anyways, he goes on a date with Kiara. This girl can't be bothered to be in the pods with him.
Told you you're my number one.
It's genuine, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you like cheese?
No.
Not even a little bit of cheddar? Lactose intolerant?
No.
Oh. Vegan. Oh, what an idiot. Imagine we've got some fresh sourdough bread.
Don't like cheese, Jack.
Doesn't like cheese in capitals at the top.
He doesn't listen to me. I value actions over words. Did say he was going to write something for me. It's a little niggling feeling about Jack that I can't budge.
I'm confused how Kiara and Jack even got this far into their connection, because I get the impression that she would never give him the time of day if they weren't on this show. Granted, she can't see him, but even the way he moves, she seems irritated by him. Like, yes, she loves that he's a free spirit, but later on she's going to say that he's just too free-spirited, and that's not what she's on right now. I feel like that was present from the beginning. So how they got this far is beyond me. But anyways, he says his head is scrambled now because his number one is not giving him the energy that he wanted, and his number two is. So maybe he should consider Faye, since Kiara is not, doing it for him anymore. Taylor and Sophie talk about family more. She says that the brother she comes right after had bone cancer, and in order to save his life, he had to lose his leg. So watching him go through all of that has inspired her. Taylor says that he's inspired by his older sister, who's a lot like his mom. His mom passed away when he was 21, I think it was, and he was a mama's boy. So seeing the resilience in his sister reminds him of his mom, and he's inspired by his sister's story. Then they, I think it was the next date, yeah. The next date, he gives her a sentimental gift, and already what they had spoken about confirmed to Sophie that this is her person, but the gift cemented that.
I had a necklace made which has her fingerprint on it. Obviously never going to be there for my wedding, never going to see my kids and stuff like that. That necklace almost makes me feel like she's with me, look after it for me.
I will take such good care of it.
How do you guys feel about exchanging gifts that belonged to other people? Because like the most recent thing that I could think of was it Alex or Alexa, whatever that girl's name was, and that man who was my sister. This was in the US version. I forget their names. The guy who was a vet, I think it was, and she was a very messy girl. Messy, like clutter and stuff like that. Anyways, it feels like it makes it harder for the person to consider other options if you're giving them a gift that just means so much to you. Like, these two only have each other, right? Sophie and Taylor are only pursuing each other. But if she had other options, I wonder how much this would sway her to focus on him, because there's that little bit of guilt of like, he gave me this really important thing. How can I then reject him? How can I reject the gift? How can I reject his advances? So what are your guys' thoughts on the sentimental gifts like this? I don't know. She then gives him a sentimental gift too, so they're on the same type of time. But I just wonder what you guys think about that. We then meet Ryan. Ryan is very deep in his spiritual journey, okay? Everything he does, he lives and breathes spirituality, right? He says that he's not here for the small talk, okay? He wants to get down to business, and he's able to do so with Cuba.
So I love to travel, and I'm also spiritual.
Got offer a retreat in between Glastonbury and South Wales. I go to quite a lot of sacred sites, some powerful ley lines, an undercover spiritual guy.
Same. Adios, have a lovely day.
Yeah, do you speak Spanish? Yo también puedo hablar.
Sí.
There really is somebody for everybody, isn't there? Like, theoretically. Obviously not for real, because I personally don't believe that everybody is meant to be partnered. But I think if you truly wanted to be partnered, there is somebody out there for you. Really, there is. So he wasn't being received well by some of the other women because of the things that he was saying. So he doesn't want to put his kids in school. I would assume that he would be homeschooling, or is he one of those like free range type parents? I don't know. The point is, traditional school, not for him. He doesn't believe in the education system. Is that what he said? He said something along those lines. He also said that he wouldn't want to be with somebody who has to stay in the UK all year round. He wants to travel. He wants to do this and that and whatever. And if somebody has a static job, that's not possible, right? So he was really narrowing down his options. But here comes Cuba. Okay, she's down with the spirituality as well. They've gone to similar places. They've been to similar retreats and stuff. Like, they're really connecting for real. Like, for real, for real. Then when the date is over, she says something in Spanish and he's like, hold on, you speak Spanish? Then they're going back and forth in Spanish. I said, wow, that really is your spec for real. If these two, like, I mean, we just met them, but I feel like these two should get married. Yeah. Yasmin and Jordan are back in the pods. I was curious to know if Yasmin was going to share that she has vitiligo, but she does. And while she's sharing this information, she's literally shaking.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard of vitiligo. Essentially, so I've got like pigmentation.
I think I know what you're on about, yeah.
Yeah? Really like rocked my self-confidence. Sorry.
It's all right, take all the time you need.
Man, I really felt for her. I surely did. This lady said that when the postman would come around, she would have to hide from the postman. Like, she would be petrified to answer the door. Mind you, with a postman, there's like no stakes. Like, you don't know these people for real. Sometimes you do get a frequent delivery person, but like, you really don't know this person. And to be that like insecure about your appearance that you had to hide from the postman, like, that's really sad. That's really, really sad. We know that society is quite superficial, so I definitely understand where the insecurity comes from. But she's so beautiful. I'm just like, girl, if this man don't like you even with the vitiligo, then forget him, okay? He took the information very well. He was quite affirming. And I even loved when he went back to the men's quarters, and I forget who he was talking to. It might have been AJ. And he was saying, yeah, we talked about something. I just don't want to share about it, but just know that from this conversation, A, B, C, and D, and E, and F, and G. And I was just like, the way that he protected her in that moment, because he easily could have been like, yeah, she has vitiligo and da-da-da-da, whatever. Just say it like flippantly. But the fact that he knew that it was important for her to only reveal that to people who she felt very comfortable revealing that to, and he honored that. Jordan, don't embarrass me now. I really do like you. Taylor wrote this message for Sophie, talking about how much he loves her and how he never thought he would feel this way about somebody. So now that he does have these strong feelings, he obviously wants to propose. He proposed. She said yes, of course. Fast forward to the reveal. I had no concerns about these two being attracted to each other. And sure enough, wow, sparks were flying.
Oh my God.
You're stunning.
Oh,
Will you marry me?
yeah. You're gorgeous.
So are you.
I've got your necklace.
We was just always destined to meet.
No notes. No notes. It was beautiful. They were like Cheshire Cat smiling from the time the doors cracked. I said, yeah, I love it. I love it. In the first episode, I had said that they feel like a couple that would have met organically. I think that that's true. I think that naturally they would gravitate towards each other. So when you get to build that emotional connection and then meet the person, like the attraction is palpable, you know? So seeing them connect was great. They were very tactile, but it wasn't like overkill. I love it. I love these two. Jack also felt inspired to write a passage for Faye. Interesting. He writes this, little message for her talking about how he wants to be married to a best friend and she gives best friend. And, he didn't think that he would get to this point with somebody, but now that he's here, he could just see this beautiful future that they have together, blah, 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 whatever. He starts to get emotional after she gets emotional. There was even a time before the date where he was in a little confessional thing, and he got emotional talking about like the way his mom really showed up for him and stuff, and how he wants to have a family unit that he never got to experience. I do believe that, but when he got emotional in the pods, I was like, I don't know, this feels a bit performative. Anyways, he ends up having a date with Kiara, and he starts it off by saying, you know what, I don't think that we're that compatible, especially where marriage is concerned. And she was feeling the same way, but she's under the belief that he's only changing his tone because her energy has shifted. I do think that is true. I think if given the opportunity, he would have stuck with Kiara, but now that she was moving different, he was, defaulting to his second option. He says, you know what? He is better suited with Fran. Who is Fran, you may ask? She doesn't exist. unless he means Francesca. But who the hell is Fran? You want to marry Faye, yet you don't know her name. Okay, so coming out of that date, Kiara is obviously annoyed and she lets everybody know about it.
I just spoke to Jack. I called things off with him.
Okay.
He could sense I was about to lead the conversation down that route. Been saying that I'm your number one for days, so talking about other people and just getting their names wrong. I know you've got a connection. I don't want
honestly,
that to
you can
let you
say
affect.
no. That doesn't.
That actually really annoyed me.
Yeah, that would annoy me as well.
Do you think I should be feeling a type of way? Faye's an amazing person, and I would hate to see her get hurt.
I think Jack needs to give me clarity on exactly what he's been saying.
Again, like I said, in as much as I don't think that Jack is being all the way genuine, I think it's rich coming from Kiara. Like, girl, I don't know. Even the way she came in on a warpath, I was just like, are you really looking out for her? Because she's trying to make it seem like she's looking out for Faye, but it kind of seemed to me like she wanted to show everybody like, oh, I know my worth. I'm better than that. I'm this, I'm that. So naturally, Faye is like, okay, well, if he's being duplicitous, I need to investigate. I need to know why he's saying these affirming things to you, but then also saying he wants to marry me. Like, that's crazy. And I understand her wanting answers to her questions. However, like I said, their date was giving a whole lot of nothing. So I don't get the impression that they were having a lot of deep conversations. So I feel like she did herself a disservice as far as vetting Jack. Like, you only now have a battery in your back because of what Kiara has said. And, you know, thank you to Kiara for exposing Jack to you. But like, girl, marriage is on the line. You got to be asking the hard-hitting questions. And I don't get that from Faye. Anyways, she is determined to get answers from him. So we're going to see what he says in the next date that they have. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.